wherever you go. We on the attack, going till morning. We don't study clock when we face it. Rural mass is something special, going fast, exceptional. Eruption in North Leeward and Barley, lava flowing South Leeward and Pittany. Drink a lot of water, say you can cool down. Vincy Mass is hotter, second to none.
99.9 WEFM. WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Hot already in the words of the Calypsonian. Are you preparing for Vincy Mass, my dear listener? What have you been doing? If you are taking part, then you should start making preparations by now, sorting out your finances, how you're going to, what tickets you're going to buy, what you're not going to buy, who friend is a promoter. If you plan to beg them for a ticket, you start to think, no, and start to look out for events. Oh, no, you got to start thinking about your outfits because soon events have already started, so you're gonna have to think about your outfits, what you're going to wear to what event. Sort out your ride if you don't drive. If you're gonna use taxi, if you're going to use a friend. And for those who are not taking part in Vincy Mass, well, you too could probably be vigilant, be on the lookout, so when things are taking place, so when there is going to be noise in your area. And we know it is the season, so sadly, you just have to be prepared. That's all I can tell you. Prepare for the carnival season. Prepare for the hurricane season. Alrighty then. And with that, we are going to be heading into another topic of discussion. Remember that you can always call us to be a part of our discussion by dialing 457-9997. That's our WhatsApp number. That's our landline number. You can also send us a WhatsApp message, but we usually prefer when you call us so we can hear your beautiful voice just as you are hearing ours. But no hard feelings. You can still send the text, all right? Okay, then. So to head into our next topic of discussion, have you heard about a situation that is going on in America with a woman who has been declared brain dead? However, she is pregnant. She is 22. She's about 22 weeks pregnant. And because of the state of Georgia's ban on abortion, she is being kept on life support because, they're not going to, according to their abortion ban, most abortions after fetal cardiac activity is banned, which is, the cardiac activity, they say, is usually detected at about 6 weeks after your last menstrual periods, and there are some exceptions. So
you mentioned that she's brain dead. You said that.
I feel like I did, but just in case I didn't, she has been declared brain dead, but they're keeping her on life support because she's 22 weeks pregnant, because the state has a ban on abortion. Her family has absolutely no say in the matter. And one other thing to know, they've said that there is a chance that the baby can be born with a lot of problems as well, right? But the main thing here is the family ain't got no say. They just have to go on what the state says. So we want to know, what do you think of this situation? Do you think that the family should have a say? Now, I know that many persons are against, some are against abortion, some are for abortion, right? And for various reasons, but we're wondering in this particular case where the woman has been declared brain dead and they're only keeping her on life support because she is pregnant, should the family have a say in the matter? If it were you, what would you want? Would you want the country, the state, or wherever to just take over from there, or would you want your family to have a say? And if it is your child, your grandchild, your niece, your nephew, your wife, your daughter, would you want to have a say in what happens to that fetus after she has been declared brain dead? I certainly, Roleza. I'm gonna turn over to you to hear what you got to say at this time, and then I come back to me.
Okay, no problem. One of the things to note is that her mother is old. I think she has retired, right? So it's not to say it's a young grandmother. I can't remember if the grandmother is married. I was trying to look for the other article, but what it is that the responsibility of this child is going to fall on the grandmother, right? So if the grandmother has a partner, it's going to fall on the grandmother and her partner, which could be the grandfather, right? And because they are older, one of the articles stated that she doesn't have the energy, right, to be able to take care of a new child, especially if it's a child who is going to be born with some sort of deformities, all right, or some sort of medical conditions. And I don't think she's just hinting at not having the time to raise this child, or not having the time and the energy to raise this child, but also the medical expenses that are going to fall on the family, right? For me, while it is that I know that abortion is a very touchy issue here, well, just generally amongst persons, is a very touchy issue. One side of the conversation has been that the child could be delivered, the child could go to full term, then be delivered and be put up for an adoption. And I always think about these topics when persons say, okay, so you bring the child into the world and the child could be put up for adoption. And I am always concerned with that because persons make it sound like when a child is put up for adoption, that they automatically have a good life. Many times we don't know the homes in which these children are being raised into. Many times from the outside, we can see persons, acting as if they're good parents. Providing a decent home is one thing, but in terms of the emotional type of damage, whether it's verbal abuse, physical abuse, etc., that could be placed on a child, we don't always know. So for me, an adoption isn't always like a positive way out. Yes, it is a way out for a child to prevent abortions, but like I always say, I don't know if I had ever gotten pregnant and decided not to keep the child, I would not want to put this child up for adoption because I need to know what is happening with this child. I need to know the conditions under which they're being raised, And this is why for me it's always difficult to, again, persons are going to make choices based on their own circumstances. So I'm just speaking from my vantage point, looking at certain things, all right? But putting a child up for adoption, I would have felt like I would have just found some sort of way to have this child with me all the time. I would prefer to go through the struggles with this child, knowing that I am doing my best in the situation, as opposed to putting this child up and not knowing what is going to be the outcome. So for this family, I think it's extremely difficult. And if I do have to stand on a particular line, I would prefer for the child to have been aborted. Yeah.
I agree with you, Roleza. Well, I say, of course, the family should have a say in the matter. And I do believe that the child should have been aborted as well. Now, I am not against abortion. But I do realize that because recently I was having a conversation with somebody. It's a topic that keeps popping up, whether, you support abortion or you don't support abortion. And so they decided to talk about the abortion process for babies when they've already started to develop their limbs and so on. And to be honest, the whole time when I kept saying I'm not against abortion, I never really thought of that particular part. And when I heard these persons describe it, it's horrific. It's very horrific. So I still have my feelings, still trying to figure that out, but I actually am not against abortion. So.
I think it's not against abortion under a certain amount of weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you've already had a child that's properly formed, like you can actually see a baby, the formation of an actual baby, then for me it's a no. Right. Yeah. But yeah, it's a difficult one, and we know this whole topic of women and this stance, and sometimes women have opposing views on it. And I know of a friend who one time, okay, I'll talk that story after. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
To everybody. This is difficult decision to make. But it all depends of the crisis and the surrounding of the parents, how parents are putting in that situation. If she have, they call it sisters, if she have sisters, if she have any aunties, other family members who can see about the child, that's what, not just the grandmother. And in the States, if you grandparents take the child or so, I believe that is a system in that form. But the other point I want to bring on, it put me back to a family member of mine in the States, that when the child was about 3 months, 4 months, the mother was healthy, but the child just wanted to born. Comfort that time. She didn't have no brain damage, which is fact. She didn't have no medical issue. But there's some children, it just could be the woman a little bit low, right? And so on. But nevertheless, they keep the child into the womb instead of water bag bust already. I see it on video, right? And like when it's 3 months, when 4 months, and they keep the child, try to keep the child, and they keep it to 5 months and some weeks, which is true story. And the child, they say, well, same thing. The child go come out handicapped, the child go come out this, the child go come out all kind of, thing they will tell what happened to the child. You have heart problem, you have this, you have that. But thank God, today, the child, when they bring it forth, they like come forth 5 weeks. So sorry, 5 months, excuse me, and some weeks. They couldn't carry it up to 6 months. And truly, the child is alive. It's about 12 years now. Yes, 12. The child is alive. Ain't have no complications, don't have no disability, which you be looking for, nothing. Put out in the child, right? So that part I will say that if they could keep the child to that certain amount, America have the necessary things to do to carry it up to that part. They may suggest it, but who knows? That's life. God created life. And if they want the child, if it's Lord's will for the child to come forth, let it be. If it's not, and you have to go, ready to go. You understand what I said?
I do.
That is life. That is man life. That's God's life. And he that caused it to create in the womb of the one belly. Who knows? She might be in that condition. And who knows? She brought the child, they carry it up, and she have the child. Can't we believe God's son miracle? She could come back. I mean, even though she's brain damaged, as she said, she's dead, like vegetarian. Who knows? You can come back. All these things, not only physically, thank God for the doctors, thank God for the physician, but can't we believe God's son miracle for the child and the mother? And he is still a miracle working God.
All
we
right.
have to look to.
All right. Thank you, caller.
I have to say, I like how she ended. It's a female, right? I like how she ended. I like how she ended that day she ended that there by saying, you never know what could happen to the mother. Even though the doctors have declared her brain dead, some miracle can happen for her. Because we've seen these things happen where persons, you think they're going to, like, that's their last, but I kind of like how she ended it there. There may be some sort of hope.
But that is, but you see, this is it, right? This is why it's sometimes difficult for me, because yes, the child, in this case, this child turned out to be perfectly fine, right? No complications. The child more than likely is going to lead a regular, normal life. But what about the cases that don't.
Yeah.
What about the pressure that it places on the family? Yeah, listen, I believe in God as much as everybody else, right? But I have to take note that there are going to be circumstances where we can hope for the best and pray for the best, and the worst still happens. All right. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Yeah, but if the child comes out to be disabled, that child will belong to the state. They will take care of the child. They will provide a nanny over 24 hours. When you get to the stage where he's going to school, and they will provide transportation. He will go to a special school. All that will come from the state. They have programs for that. So, and that is not anything. I mean, you always have that program in the United States. That is one thing for child care. They're very, very particular when it comes to children who is disabled. All right, so that child will be well taken care of, even though that child.
But you see,
end up
but you see, you're saying well taken care of. But what about the quality of the child's life? Shouldn't that also be a factor? What is this child's life actually going to amount to? If this child is just going to be in a vegetative state all the days of their life, that doesn't the quality of their life also shouldn't also play a factor? Or that's not for us to decide.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think that they're still acting on medical advice. If that they could monitor the child daily and see whether or not it's worth the while for the child to be born. Because I think that if it was in a situation before this period of time, doctors would have so I think it's a good chance that maybe some complication, but not to a degree where it will be totally devastation.
Yeah. Well, in this case, it's because
I think the state gained some guidance. I think they gained some guidance.
Well, it's because the state is against abortion after a particular number of weeks. But the doctors did also say that there might be complications with this child. So they're fully aware, but they're still going to proceed in.
Might be. That's the issue there.
So we live in on hope.
If they go to court, remember, if they go to court, you know, all these evidence are to come in effect so that the judge and all who is involved could weigh in on this and make a decision.
All right. Thanks, caller.
All right.
Okay, then I don't know what.
All right, let's take it. So, all right.
Okay.
So, Kojo, because you're coming in at the end, you have 8 minutes, right? It's done 9:05.
You see, I have a problem with all these religious people. You know, they're always showing God when they want to show God. That one child that this fella talk about who survived and managed to survive. One to the hundreds of kids who come out died probably just after breathing, having a full breath and died. Where was the God that's supposed to save that child too? Why people just use this God thing so? That child who survived because of reasons, medical reasons. There's kids who born with similar situation and die instantly right there. Mother didn't even take them out. And people talking about state and state. Is the same state as who put the mother into this problem? The woman is a brain dead woman. She won't even know the child. And they're supposed to find the person who impregnated that woman. That's what the state's supposed to do. Because if a woman lying on her bed, brain dead, how she get pregnant?
Oh no, this happened. No, I think she, as a result of an accident or something. I was trying to find the exact information, but she only ended up in the hospital after she was pregnant. It didn't happen in the hospital.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
what I'm saying, this woman cannot talk, and the state is saying that they take in charge.
Mm.
That's my problem with religious people. They take their religion serious, but they don't consider other people who do not follow their religion. So because your religion says certain thing, my religion has no play.
Mm.
You know, I might not want to have a child that is gonna be have all that issue for me to deal with financially. If I hear somebody say, "Well, state will take care of the child," state will take care of our child. You know, many children they here in America without proper taking care. The same state you're talking about, they're cutting back food stamps, they're cutting back all them stuff.
Yeah.
The same state you're talking about.
All
What people
right.
are we
Okay.
talking
All right,
about?
coach. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Oh Lord. Yeah, this is one of those topics. But I know we're going to wrap up, right? But it just all of this conversation is forcing me to ask a question. When women are pregnant, when you find out, you all find out that you're pregnant, right? Do you ever indicate your wishes to somebody, right? In the event that something goes wrong? Do you say, if something happens to me? Well, of course, I know I don't know, abortion still illegal, and drop that. I'm dropping it. I ain't say nothing, right? But you're carrying this child. Everybody's aware that you're pregnant. Do you state, if something should happen to me, who do you want to raise this child? Do you tell the person that I want for you to raise this child? Is there a way for you to make provisions for this child? So sometimes these are things that we have to think about as well.
Yeah.
Everybody wishes for a happy pregnancy. Everybody wishes for a safe delivery, but
Doesn't always
go that way. All right.
Yeah.
So
I don't think that most, again, I haven't been to everybody, but I don't think that most women think about that while they're pregnant, but they probably think about that after they've had their child and they're watching their child grow and they're like, well, if anything happens to me, this is who I'd want to take care of my child.
But there are some women who don't survive delivery, who don't make it through delivery. So,
It's definitely something to think about from the beginning. And with that, we are going out because we are way over time and we apologize. It is now 9:10. It's now 9:10 and we're heading into our ACCB currency exchange rates.